Hi, this is Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com, right here on WagerTalk TV with your Week 4 college football top 25 preview. And boy, do we have a loaded and deep card this week. I told you last week on Week 3, it was the first time, the only time all year that we had no true head-to-head top 25 matchups. So I dug a little deeper and gave you some top 25-ish games. But I also told you, foreshadowing alert, huge Week 4 coming up, and boy, has it delivered. There are six, count them, six head-to-head top 25 matchups this week alone. To put that in perspective, the last 3 weeks, in fact, the last 3.5 weeks, if you include week 0, there's been only 3 head-to-head top 25 matchups in the first 3.5 weeks of college football. We have 6 of them this week, and a lot of other games that just missed the cut. I'm going to give you a preview and analysis of all 6, the biggest 6 games this week in college football. 3 late afternoon and 3 night. I'm going to let you know my database simulation, 10,000 simulated games. I'll let you know what the average margin of victory was, where I think the value is, and also the situational setup and how you should play these games on Saturday, right here on Wager Talk TV. If you're finding this information useful, give it a thumbs up, the video a thumbs up, a like, and don't forget to comment below. I read all the comments and I reply back. Let me know your thoughts not only on these games, but also where else you see value this week in college football. Let's win together this Saturday, week 4, here at WagerTalk.com and Wager Talk TV. All right, let's get right to it. We got 3 games on the afternoon card. All 3, by the way, start at 3:30 Eastern. And then we have 3 night games. So let's get to the daytime games first, and we'll go down in start time order. And boy, we don't have to wait long to get maybe the most anticipated matchup of the week, and that's number 19, Colorado, at number 10, Oregon, 3:30 Eastern on ABC National TV. And this line is a bit different than would have been about a week ago. I was seeing anywhere from 15, maybe to 17, 15 to 17-point range. Oregon was going to be the home favorite. But then, of course, they looked really good, explosive once again against a bad Hawaii team. But more importantly, Colorado struggled against Colorado State. Over a 3-touchdown favorite. They were down by 11 in the fourth quarter. They needed double overtime to pull the win, and they did escape, literally escaped with that victory despite being outgained. Defense was bad once again. Colorado State, a very mediocre offensive team, put up a ton of yardage. And Colorado State almost won the game outright as a 3-touchdown dog in double overtime despite having 4 turnovers on offense. Colorado State was a better team in a lot of part of that game, a lot of aspects of that game. And because of that, and also due to the fact that Travis Hunter lacerated liver, he's going to be out for several weeks. Really an unfortunate injury for probably the most talented all-around player in the nation. And keep in mind, two-way threat at receiver and cornerback came over from Jackson State with Coach Prime, Heisman contender. He has accounted for 88% of the snaps on offense and defense this year for Colorado. Travis Hunter is out this week. So all those things combined have inflated this line up to 21. So the question becomes, is there still value with Oregon? And I think there is. My database simulation projects a 31-point win for the Oregon Ducks. Now, of course, Colorado has that dreaded backdoor cover potential with a great passing offense. But even if they're down by 31, 34, I still don't think they get to this number. And Oregon has what we look for in a blowout situation. That's an explosive offense. They're averaging 58 points a game, including 55 last week and 81 in their other home game. They've scored 81 and 55 in their 2 home games this year. If you're going to play it, you better lay it. I like Oregon at minus 21 on Saturday afternoon. All right, next game at 3:30 Eastern, also on Saturday afternoon on Fox National TV, is number 22 UCLA at number 11 Utah. This should be a great game. Utah does have revenge after a high-scoring loss at UCLA last season. A strong home field. Obviously, this is a coast team coming into the thin air and altitude. Currently, as we look at the Wager Talk live odds screen, I'm doing this video, by the way, late Thursday as we head into Friday and the weekend. But if we look at the Wager Talk live odds screen, Utah opened as low as a 5-point favorite. It's pretty much been 6.5s starting to show, but I do see mostly 6s out there still. And I do think there's some value with Utah. My database simulation, 10,000 games, projects an average victory of about 8.5 points for the Utes. Whittingham, also a favorite coach that doesn't mind laying it on teams and running up the score whenever possible. And with the revenge mode of thin air and altitude and some line value, I'd lean towards Utah in this game. They've looked pretty mediocre this season. That win against Florida, by the way, I mentioned Florida last week here in the top 25 video. I told them I had a best bet on them as well for my clients at WagerTalk.com. By the way, that's part of that current 12-3, 80% best bet run. So check out those plays right now, Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. And I mentioned last week in the preview of the Florida-Tennessee game that it was not a great scheduling spot for Florida in week 1, as they had to leave the state early due to the tropical storm. Had to stop in Texas overnight because they couldn't get hotel rooms in Utah early enough on that Tuesday. Went in there, played the Thursday night game, lost 24-11, thin air altitude. So it wasn't a great spot. Utah looked pretty mediocre against Baylor, landed right on the spread, and then can't read too much into the Weber State game last week. So this is a big test for Utah. UCLA has looked explosive on offense. First time this season they're leaving the state of California, though, because their only true road game was at San Diego State in week 2. So I do think the scheduling spot favors Utah, and there is some line value. I project an 8.5-point win for the Utes. All right, let's stick with these 3:30 Eastern daytime games on Saturday. This one now on CBS, and that's number 15 Mississippi Ole Miss at number 13 Alabama. And here's another example of how this line has definitely changed from the summer. I saw advanced look-ahead lines around 15 this summer. Now Bama is only a 6.5 point favorite at home. My database simulation, 10,000 games played out, has an average win of 10. So once again, this is landing right in the middle of the look-ahead line this summer and the current line. I project a 10-point Alabama win. If you're going to play this game, and that's a big if, I would lean towards Alabama with the line value, but I have some concerns. First of all, this Alabama offense does not look right. Some serious quarterback issues right now. And it's always a huge red flag, as I've mentioned several times over the years, when a team does not even score the point spread. Bama didn't even come close last week. They were a 34-point favorite, and they only scored 17 in the game against South Florida on the road. And that was late. They actually had 3 points late in that game. So I do think there's some issues with that Alabama offense. But with that said, we are getting some adjusted line value now below a touchdown. And Bama has been a much better home team over the years. I know they lost to Texas, but they've been very good at home in conference games compared to the road. And then once again, they struggled with the road game last week. That was in Tampa at South Florida. Meanwhile, Ole Miss, second true road game of the season. We talked about them a couple weeks ago here on the Top 25 video when they played at Tulane. And yes, on the surface, a 37-20 win was impressive, but keep in mind Tulane was without their star starting quarterback, Michael Pratt, in that game. Backup Coy Horton did not play well. So Ole Miss dodged a bullet in that one. This will be their first true test of the season. And I do lean Alabama based on line value at -6.5 or less. But once again, this is not a game that will make my best bet card. I did not think it was strong enough, too much uncertainty with that Alabama offense. All right, chime in below. Let me know your thoughts on those 3 daytime games. We're halfway there. 6 head-to-head top 25 matchups. Those are all the 3:30 Eastern games for Saturday afternoon. I'm going to get to 3 nighttime games that all start after 7 Eastern here in just a moment. But I referenced earlier, red hot start this season in college and pro football for my clients at WagerTalk.com. In fact, going back over the last couple of weeks, college and pro football combined 12-3, 80% run. And we have another huge weekend. I've got 5 best bets ready, posted right now for Saturday. 5 strong Saturday college football best bets right now. Now, if you want to try it out for one day, I made a 5-pack. Individual games are 25. I made a 5-pack for 38. It's a very special price. You can try it out. If you're a new user, you can get a 3-day sampler, which includes all of my college and pro football and baseball for 3 days and nights for just $55 with promo code Steve3. That's for new users only. It's a way to try it out for 3 days. But everybody can get the best deal, and this is available right now. You see the promo code here on the screen. It's on my homepage as well. That's a full year of all sports for just $3 a day. Here's how it works. You're going to get every month for just $99 a month. That works out to over $3 a day. It's over an $800 discount off the normal rate, but you must have promo code SM365. Full details are on my homepage right now, so go check it out. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. It gives you the promo codes. Once again, a full year of all sports. That's not only college and pro football, 80% run, baseball for the rest of the year through the World Series, all of next year as well when it starts, and all the college and pro basketball seasons which are around the corner. Get a full 365 days of all access, every sport, every day, every play for just over $3 a day. But you must have promo code SM365. Check out the details right now and sign up on my page, Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. All right, we're halfway down with the daytime games. Let's get to those 3 nighttime games in college football. Top 25 action resumes at 7 p.m. Eastern on Fox. Number 14, Oregon State against number 21, Washington State. A little bit of a sneaky top 25 matchup, Oregon State and Washington State. Not 2 teams we've talked a lot about this season out there on the West Coast. And first, let's look at the Wager Talk live odds screen as we're doing this video on Thursday evening, once again, heading into the weekend. Oregon State did open briefly as a 2.5-point favorite. This line has held steady, though, across the board at -3. Not a surprise. 3 in college and pro football, the most key number in all of sports betting. About an 8 to 9% chance Oregon State wins this game by exactly 3 points, and they are currently a 3-point favorite. And my database simulation favors them by 3.2. So I think this line is spot on. I did not see much value as far as the point spread goes in this game. Let's dig a little bit deeper, though, and see if we can find some value with the total. Line did open 56 earlier this week, and the sharp money has been on the over. It's pushed it up to 58, mostly 58 and a halves out there. So there has been some sharp money on the over in this game. Last year, low scoring game, I believe it was 24-10. It is a revenge spot here. Oregon State won that game last year on the road, and at home last year, and now they're on the road here in this situation. So we'll see how this one plays out. I am a little concerned with the over, though, for that reason, because last year Oregon State wins 24-10 as a 3-point favorite. Washington State loses on the road Oregon State was a 3-point favorite at home. They win 24-10. Now we see the reverse here. Oregon State at Washington State, and now they're a 3-point road favorite. So it's a little bit of an over adjustment of the line, in my opinion, and that's why I'm staying off the side here. I would lean towards that sharp money move on the over, but as I said earlier, I do have some concerns with the over because these are two very good defensive teams. Oregon State on the season allowing just 2 yards per rush, one of the best, most underrated run defenses in the country. But Washington State is more of a pass offense, and I think that's why we have seen some money coming in the over. These are two teams that both throw for over 9 yards per pass attempt this season. Pass defenses have been strong, but Oregon State's defense overall has been much stronger, and that's why we do see them as a 3-point road favorite. And once again, that's where my projection is, and there has been some sharp money on the over in this game. Not a game I'm going to be involved with, though, on Saturday night at 7 Eastern personally. All right, 2 more games on the nighttime card here. Also at 7:30 Eastern, one of the biggest games, perhaps the biggest game of the week, and the only true top 10 head-to-head matchup, and that's number 6, Ohio State, at number 9, Notre Dame. That's on NBC national TV at 7:30 Eastern, and this should be a great game. And I do think we have a live dog here for several reasons. First of all, good defensive dog. Notre Dame, keep in mind, played the extra game in Ireland in week 0, so this is now their 5th game of the season. And after the first 4 games, they're allowing less than 12 points a game and just 3.8 yards per play. So obviously that is the definition of a good defensive home underdog. And, you know, it's funny, Ohio State's been great offensively, weak defensively in recent years, and that's really what's kept them from being a national title winner, in my opinion. Looks like the roles are reversing this year. Ohio State's been very good defensively, just 6.7 yards per play. 6.7 yards points per game, 3.6 yards per play allowed overall this year after their first 3 games. But they've been more than a 4-touchdown favorite every one of those games. This is a huge step up in class. Notre Dame had to play overseas against Navy, and then they had the tough game at NC State as just a 7-point favorite. So I think it's a bigger step up in class for Ohio State than Notre Dame for that reason. And I mentioned how Ohio State's now good defensively, but their offense got to be concerned. 3 games this season. In 2 of those games, they have not even scored the point spread. In fact, they've been a touchdown below the point spread for total points scored offensively. Week 1, they put up only 23 points at Indiana as a 30-point favorite. Week 2, they only scored 35 at home against Youngstown as a 45-point favorite. Impressive 63-10 win against Western Kentucky last week. I will give them that. But they did force 4 turnovers on defense. Don't think they're going to be that fortunate on the road against a Notre Dame team that's only turned the ball over twice this season in 4 total games. Veteran squad, really good on both ends of the ball, and they can run the ball as well and throw the ball, balanced attack. So let's look at the database simulation. Once again, I run 10,000 game simulations. Average victory is Ohio State by less than 2 points. So that's near the line. But once again, it's sitting on a very key number of 3. 3 is the most key betting number in all of sports when it comes to football or any sport for that matter. But more importantly, I run other database simulations, and several of them have Notre Dame winning the game outright and also out-yarding, winning the yardage battles. So while the line is pretty close to my projection, I like the other simulations even more because it has them winning outright in numerous situations as a dog. Mentioned last week on the video, both Missouri against Kansas State and also Florida and their upset of Tennessee qualified in those same situations. I'm seeing the same type of numbers with Notre Dame this week. So I do think Notre Dame is a live underdog on Saturday night. All right, one more final game here, the 6th of the 6 head-to-head top 25 matchups this weekend. And once again, thanks for watching. If you're enjoying this, give us a thumbs up, a like, comment below. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button as well for instant alerts when my videos go live. Hit that bell. College football top 25, you're watching it right now, but my NFL Fade the Public video will be available this weekend as well here on WagerTalk TV. But let's finish this college football top 25 video out with the 6th head-to-head top 25 matchup here in week 4, and that is at 7:30 Eastern on CBS. Big Ten action, number 24, Iowa at number 7, Penn State. And this should be a great game as well. Penn State, I think, is a dark horse national title contender this year. You know, when they play Ohio State on the road in a few weeks, we just talked about Ohio State, how they look a little suspect on offense. Then, of course, Michigan later. If things fall right, Penn State does control their own destiny to be in that 14 playoff when all is said and done. And then some other teams we talked about earlier this year, like Clemson, Alabama being weaker than in years past. There are some openings here for things to fall right for Penn State. And for that reason, I think they're a play-on team. And boy, have they been a play-on team so far this season. Not only are they 3-0 straight up, but more importantly, a perfect 3-0 against the spread. You've made some serious money with Penn State this year as a backer. Now, it helps that they haven't turned the ball over yet, and they might not be as fortunate against a very tough Iowa defense. But I like the fact this game is at home. My database simulation has them winning by nearly 20 points, 19.5 points. So while this line might look high, over 2 touchdowns against a very good Iowa defense that's been great for years, they allow basically only about 14, 15 points a season now for several seasons on average. The most they've allowed the last 4 years was 19 points a game for a season. And this year they're allowing just 12.5. So you've got a situation here where Iowa is getting more points than they allow in the season. And that is something that jumps out to you. And that, by the way, is why I'm keeping this game off my official card. But if I was to play it, and for this video, I would lean towards Ohio State. Now, the line is currently 14.5 across the board as we look at the WagerTalk live odds screen. I don't think it's going to drop back down to 14. If it does drop to 14 or less, I would start leaning towards Penn State, as that's a very key number. But once again, my database simulation still favors them by 19.5 here, and they are a true play-on team. And Iowa just has no offense. They've been all defense, no offense for several years. Yes, they have covered back-to-back weeks, but they've still scored 24 or less in 2 or 3 games this year. And what jumps out to me is they don't have what we call backdoor cover potential because they have a terrible passing attack once again on the season. 53% completions, just 5.9 yards per pass against Utah State, Iowa State, and Western Michigan. Now they're taking a huge step up in class against a really good Penn State pass defense. So when Iowa gets behind in this game, which I think they will, they're going to struggle to score. So that's the reason I would lean towards Penn State, especially if you can find minus 14 or less. And by the way, as far as the total in this game, we have seen some sharp money on the under. Opened as high as 41.5. It's now down to 40. Even see a 39 at the circa. So there has been some early sharp money on the under this week. And I think, once again, that's because 2 good defenses in the Iowa offense, once again, looks like they're going to struggle this season. Hey, look, those are the 6 true head-to-head top 25 matchups, all ranked teams this week. Now, there was one game that just missed the cut, and that was Florida State at Clemson. Clemson is actually 26th in the AP poll, but they are ranked in the coaches poll. So I know many of you were probably looking for that early kickoff at noon Eastern, but I invite you to check out WagerTalk TV because I did a standalone solo video for that game, an in-depth 5-minute video earlier this week on Monday. So go through the videos here on WagerTalk TV, and you will find an in-depth preview as well for that Florida State-Clemson game, a game that was just a bit outside from making the top 25 officially here for this video. And don't forget, if you want my official best bets, 5 strong college football best bets are locked and loaded right now for my clients at wagertalk.com for Saturday. Go get them right now. I've got a 5-for-1 special if you want to try it out for the day. If you're a new user, you can get 3-day sampler of all sports, college and pro football and baseball for just $55 with promo code Steve3. That's for new users only. But the best deal is for everyone, and that's the 1-year all-access, all-sports special for just over $3 a day with promo code SM365. Once again, every football, baseball, and basketball play for the next year, 365 straight days and nights for just over $3 a day when you use promo code SM365. It's over an $800 instant discount. Do not miss out on this opportunity. The promo expires this weekend. So check it out right now and start winning on a 12-3, 80% football run alone over the past week and a half. And I've got 5 strong college football best bets, a loaded NFL card as well for Sunday and Monday. Hey, win big and continue to win all year with promo code SM365. Full details for that 1-year special on my page right now, Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. You can get there quicker with shortcut wt.buzz/SM. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter as well, at Steve Merril, 2 R's, 1 L, at Steve Merril on Twitter. And most importantly, leave me some comments below. I know I keep saying it, but I truly read every comment. I reply back. I love the support. Let's win together here in week 4 in college football. Let me know not only your thoughts on the top 25 games, but all the other games on the board, some under-the-radar games where you're finding value this week in college football. And don't forget to hit subscribe and that bell for instant alerts when my NFL Fade the Public video goes live this weekend as well, right here on WagerTalk TV. Thanks again for watching. Like, subscribe, and comment below. And I'll be back soon with NFL Fade the Public right here on WagerTalk TV. Best of luck this weekend.